Josh. Here I want to stress a clear distinction between omote and ura. Not in between, but very clear distinction. So omote. The end result is the same. We just use a different modality to enter. So here, practice. Again, primarily we understand, omote and ura. And regarding, say, some things I'm going to comment relative to what we can use in testing and perfecting our technique, but you always want to begin correctly to end correctly. Okay, so the first movement, primary movement, is most important. So I have three rules. I get position, I take their balance, and then I do the technique or the appropriate response. Make sense? Here, position. Obviously, he could punch, kick, do anything from here. My objective is to change this, and this is how I accomplish it. Now, on the omote, it's a shihonage in essence, but I turn it more into a kokyunage stretch by coming back. So you see I have shingaku, or I have his dead side, and I have a distinctive positional advantage. That's what we're looking for. Okay, now working center line here. Now turn out here so you can spot your partner and they can stretch. Most of you are going into a shihonage ending, which we will do, but you're ahead of me, okay? I want you to go to this because then we can do a kokyunage fall from here. So in teaching shihonage, I like to do these movements. I teach him to stretch. I learn the modalities of entering, and then it warms him or her up so they can then take their ukimi. So it's a process, okay? And if you follow the steps, it works very well. Here, so you see, I'm straddle on the side and behind. Makes sense? Now I have the positional advantage. Here, I've changed his position. Here, I'm back here. I think I have the advantage. Huh? Okay, are any of you having trouble getting underneath your partner? You are? Okay. Would you say there's a little size discrepancy here? Huh? Okay. If I can get under her, you should be able to get under anyone. Thank you. Josh, hang on a second. Yeah. So the important thing, and we'll speak to this in general and in regard to testing also, you never want to sacrifice your vertical stability. That is absolutely imperative when you do your technique. You sacrifice your vertical stability, much like the old, if you remember, pinball machines, and you tilt it. It touches, you tilt, you're done, okay? So, in order to, say, enter here, now, to get under Josh, I extend, huh? Now, I lower my hips and my knees, but I keep my upper body straight and work from center line. Does that make sense? That's how you get underneath someone without sacrificing your vertical stability. And again, many of you are not entering deep enough to be effective. You have to have positional advantage. So here, it's evident I have positional advantage. But if you're not penetrating more, you're not going to have that advantage. just a few distinctions because it may be new to you. And the ending is so that you can spot your partner in the stretch, okay? It's not, now the ending, in fact, we'll go into the technique now. What I'm going to do now is just lead him in to a back fall. So this is how we progress in the training. So as you can see, it's more kokyunage. It's shihonage type, but actually kokyunage execution or timing and momentum. So here. Okay, please practice. Be careful. Now, for all of those of you that I've convinced not to end with the shihonage position on that, I need you to go back to the shihonage position. So you all be doing the other. It happens. But here, now we're going to take this into an exercise for shihonage, which I like because it really develops your extension. Now, it's going to be without a shihonage grab, okay? So your musubi or your lock here, your blending has to be right on. So I turn here. Here. Now you have your shihonage here, but I'm not grabbing, I'm just extending. So don't avoid the temptation to grab because that's what we've done forever, and you'll want to do that. In order to develop it to the next level, extend. Whether it's omote or ura. All right, practice. These things I found very successful in developing a very strong, awareness of body position and extension because you haven't grabbed yet. You've done it through your connection with your partner. And then once you go into the shihonage with the hold, you will enhance it. It's like probably if you're a runner, put 50 pounds on and run and then take the 50 pounds off, you'll notice a big difference. So some of the things I'll give you a tour through history here of how we learned, like say, katatetori shihonage, omote. You might be interested from the early days, back in the 60s. When we did katatetori shihonage, it was from here. We started from aihanmi, and we went here, here, and down. And sometimes I still use that methods with beginners if they have problems conceptually. It's not a real good position strategically for a real situation, but it allows your body to align, okay? So you just from here, here, up, here. And you may use it if you're having trouble getting through to a newer student on something. Then, before, say, pre-war Aikido, they would do here and here and here. So we learned that modified method when Kyoichi Tohei first came over early in the 60s. Then, now more classical here. Now, for the one I like to use, but I use it selectively, is I combine the method we first used with the shoulder lift. So this became somewhat problematic because as Aikido moved west, people got bigger and stronger. So this was okay when you were about the same size. Now to offset that, if you use the irimi or omote, you can then get a very good shihonage. I like to practice it, but you have to be careful so people aren't getting shoulder surgery all the time, So now, basically, we're using the extension. Now, instead of just leading, we're going to take the hand, we're going to step here, turn, and down. For omote, ura, Okay, now Ura, basic Ura was taught here, 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 and here. And you can still use that when teaching a newer person. It's like you're doing Tai no Hinko, grab, here, but you get center line, here. And always control, here, never just leaving them go. And then a little more advanced is extend up, be preemptive. And leading them out. Okay? So practice omote, ura, and hantai. I notice, again, we have a diverse group, and that's the beauty about Aikido. You have so many different people to work with. And I noticed some of the smaller practitioners against the larger. Sometimes it's problematic because there's a huge size difference. So for Shihan Nage in a more self-defense application, what I like to show at our dojo here is just say, here, you must learn this. There's no question. You have to understand and master this. But I make it into a double wrap. Here, I move, and I keep it right to my forehead. It then becomes extremely powerful for a smaller person against a larger person. So I want you to use your head, literally. So from here, first move. Now, here. It's very, very efficient, but you don't, most people want to overstep when we do this, okay? So I extend here. So I don't go any further than this, not past him, here. You see it? So it's hard to see. Pull your, come on, tuck it a little bit. So you don't get your foot, everybody wants to do it, you know, and go past here, and they wonder why they can't do it. But the most important thing is to turn your partner. As you do that, get your grip. Try Shihan Nage. Okay, very good. That was a sort of an abbreviated class that I teach on Shihan Nage. Some classes I'll go through and just teach all one technique, you know, in different variations, but sometimes you have to change things and so you don't ruin one part of the body too soon, you know. So we'll do a little bit of movement now. Okay. Thank you all very much. Did very well.